First of all, I'd like to make an announcement. I'll be doing a live broadcast tonight, so I'd be grateful if you could join us. Now, on to today's topic. This time, we'll be discussing China's automotive industry again. Specifically, there's an EV manufacturer in China called NIO. Many of you may already be familiar with NIO, as it's a company gaining attention for implementing a system that addresses a major weakness of EVs. The main hassle with EVs is that charging takes time. However, NIO has introduced a system that swaps out entire batteries, eliminating the need for lengthy charging times and significantly speeding up the process. That said, this approach has its own challenges, primarily the need to build numerous battery swapping stations. Establishing this infrastructure requires a substantial amount of investment, so it's still uncertain whether this system will become widespread. What's interesting is that NIO has now formed a close relationship with wealthy Middle Eastern countries. Allow me to explain further. First, let's take a look at NIO's current financial situation. As it stands, NIO has yet to become profitable. As mentioned earlier, their business model demands not only the manufacturing of vehicles but also the establishment of battery swapping infrastructure, which incurs high costs. Because of this, the company has been consistently short on cash. However, a savior has appeared in the form of government-backed funds from the Middle East. Last year, the UAE Sovereign Wealth Fund made an initial investment of $1.1 billion, which translates to roughly 160 billion yen in Japanese yen. But even that amount was insufficient, so in December of the same year, another massive investment of $2.2 billion was made, doubling the prior investment to over 300 billion yen. This investment wasn't a loan but was instead made by purchasing newly issued shares. As a result, the UAE Sovereign Wealth Fund became NIO's largest shareholder. Although NIO is commonly recognized as a Chinese EV manufacturer, the reality is that the UAE Sovereign Wealth Fund has become its effective owner. Given their status as the largest shareholder, they hold significant control over the company. While NIO started as a Chinese EV manufacturer, it has now become a company deeply intertwined with the Middle East. Why did this happen? For NIO, it's clear, the company has been running at a loss for years and needed external funding. On the other hand, for the UAE, this move aligns with its long-term strategy of reducing its reliance on oil by investing in clean and renewable energy. Wealthy Middle Eastern countries like Saudi Arabia and the UAE are keenly aware of the global push towards reducing carbon emissions and the resulting decline in oil demand. To prepare for a post-oil era, they are seeking to diversify their economies by fostering industries like EV manufacturing. NIO isn't the only company receiving such investments, but the UAE has poured significant resources into NIO, to the point of becoming its largest shareholder. As of October this year, NIO even announced the establishment of a research center in Abu Dhabi, aiming to develop new models tailored to the Middle Eastern market. For many Japanese people, the idea of a Middle Eastern automobile manufacturer might seem strange. The region is often associated with importing Japanese vehicles rather than producing their own. However, the Middle East is now aiming for an industrial transformation, including the production of automobiles. NIO is playing a key role in this transition, albeit with significant challenges. Despite these efforts, NIO's financial performance hasn't met expectations. The company's leadership had set a goal of turning a profit in 2024. However, their losses have continued to grow. In December of last year, NIO's sales revenue increased by 46.6% year-on-year, but its losses also expanded by more than 10%, amounting to over 90 billion yen. Even with the UAE's massive investment, NIO's mounting losses are significant. The losses can largely be attributed to fierce price competition within the Chinese market. Many EV manufacturers are engaging in price wars, selling vehicles at extremely low prices to increase sales volume. As a result, even companies with growing sales are struggling to turn a profit, and some, like NIO, are sinking deeper into the red. Looking at NIO's performance in the third quarter of this year, July to September, losses increased by 11% year-on-year, exceeding 100 billion yen. Despite last December's 300 billion yen investment, the company's financial situation remains precarious. The situation in China's EV industry now resembles the earlier struggles of its real estate market. Many EV manufacturers are running massive deficits. For instance, Xiaomi, a brand better known for its smartphones in Japan, is also producing EVs and reported losses of 15 billion yen. Another manufacturer, Xpeng, posted losses of 18.1 billion yen. Compared to these, NIO's losses are on a completely different scale. In summary, despite receiving an enormous $3.3 billion investment from the UAE Sovereign Wealth Fund last year, NIO is still grappling with massive losses. Its business model inherently requires high expenditures to build battery swapping stations, and intense competition in the Chinese market is exacerbating the situation. Additionally, as global markets increasingly block imports of Chinese EVs to protect their domestic industries, NIO's path forward appears increasingly difficult. Middle Eastern nations are betting on EV investments as part of their transition away from oil dependency. However, whether these investments in NIO and similar companies will pay off remains uncertain. While NIO has made progress in establishing battery swapping stations globally, for example, setting up its 50th European station in Norway this July, the overall scale is still limited. Maintaining and expanding this network will require significant ongoing investments. In conclusion, the future of NIO, as well as the Middle East's broader EV strategy, will be critical points to watch in the coming years. For now, the situation looks precarious. Thank you for tuning in. I'll see you again during tonight's live broadcast.